Hello everybody, clearing. Okie dokie, here is a divine masculine check-in. So we're gonna look at what they're breaking free from right now. As I shuffled, the card Starseed Awakening popped up on this Starseed Oracle. Now, I don't claim you need to be somebody who dives into star seeds and ET stuff and all of that, but the whole general premise that I would love to extend in using this card is up and out of the earthbound limitations and perspectives, the constructs of earth-based society and all of that stuff, the barbaric energy. So this is a really powerful omen. I'm going to shuffle, put that back in, that the masculines are breaking free from the matrix, the constructs that have been handed to them generationally, societally, all of that. But let's have a look at what that means for the connection. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the divine masculines that are awakening to their spiritual sovereignty, coming up and out of the confines of what society and family units hand to us, our trauma hands to us, all of that stuff? What can we see, and how does that relate to the energetics of these connections? The quantum, haven't done a quantum check-in in a while, so here we go. Conscious mind about the connections. They want it. They want this connection with all their heart. I just heard more. Yeah, there are things that still need to be overcome, difference of opinions, those around them, you know, as they break free from the conformity templates, the lower vibrational survival templates, all of the things that cause us fight, flight, freeze, fawn, herd mentality. They know they have to break free from all of those triggered ways, all of the ways that ego causes us to play small and to shrink. But this love is the most powerful magnet in the universe, aside from connection to source. But this love represents source love and that alignment on the highest timeline. So they know that they want this more than the things that cause them to stay small. What is this doing in the quantum, in the energetics? Temple of perfected essence, divinity, honor, responsibility, and humility. Yes, it is them aligning with their divinity that allows them access to true divine love in relationship. And so they do have this responsibility to individuate from the herd and to come up into a higher light, a higher love. This connection has been showing them a mirror for that process. The reflected light in you, feminines, has encouraged them. It's like wiggling up a ladder. They encourage you, you encourage them. We go through these lessons. So they continue to see this connection as what's waiting for them on the other side of leaving the chaos, the uncertainty, the imbalances. What can we see for how these masculines are aligning with you specifically? The moon, they see you as this cosmic feminine up and above the earthbound struggle. They see you having sorted your femininity, anchoring peace, being responsible for your own essence, not needing to conform to popular opinion of you, holding your own that way. They see you unafraid to express your spirituality, your essence, your rhythm, your nature. They know they haven't been able to give and receive on this level, but it's helping point that direction because you don't play the games that they are accustomed to in karmic situations. It's like you're set apart. You are another sort of thing that isn't part of the human constructs, the animal constructs. What can we see for the quantum? Ecstasy, rapture, flux, amplification, heart wave resonator. So you resonate on a completely different level. You harmonize with them. This takes relationship to a new level. I used to be a commitment phobe, I just heard, but not with you, because it's aligned. They really are feeling the safety that this greater perspective and experience of life offers. They sense, whether they use the terminology or not, that you are not in that survival mode. You've transcended that fear-based way of needing relationship. I'm coming around to seeing that. I heard them say, what are these masculines breaking free from regarding the heart space? Codependency. We have the card of sovereignty here, this soft boundary. When we have the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, it's like self-made energy, but not because we're on a warpath or trying to prove a point. It's because we have ownership, and it's a soft boundary because we're not prickly about it. It just is. And we know ourselves that well. So these masculines are breaking free from anything that they would need to be so obtruse with. Yeah, because of this soul connection with you, this affinity, this alignment, it's not a contest. There's no need for compromise. It's safe, it's lovely feeling, it's secure. Secure. They feel at their most secure in this connection. They've never felt secure in a connection before. What's this doing on the quantum level? Seal of indivisible visions, psychic vision, hidden meetings, dream reading. So you may have been appearing to them in their dreams. This soul level affinity, they can't tell where you begin and they end, where they end and you begin. Because it's so soft and lovely, it's not obtruse. Again, there isn't that jagged edge. They weren't sure to begin with if this had a karmic edge to it or not, because it brought out their blind spots, and it's difficult to tell the difference between triggers and growth. And they are opting on the side of this is a safe, secure, healthy version of that. It has required them to take accountability and to grow and to see themselves in this security. But it hasn't forced them to put up unnecessary boundaries out of protection. Yes, they have had to be aware of who they are, but they haven't had to protect themselves from you. Only the constructs that your connection has revealed. Whoa. What can we see on the Heart of Hearts that these masculines are breaking free from? Needing to block out the connection. So we do have another eclipse, I think, in February next. I had somebody post it in the comments before, but I've forgotten the exact dates. They are growing out of this idea that things have to be at odds, or that the masculine and feminine can't see eye to eye. There's some sort of an aha moment where the two of you actually are much more aligned than they've been taught to think masculine and feminine energy is. We are more like each other than I first suspected. I just heard. What else? King of Wands. First off, they're realizing the nature of their incredible pull to you physically, sexually, the chemistry. They now understand there's no mystique there. It's alignment. What is happening in the quantum regarding this? Innovation, invention, and scientific pursuits. So they want to explore this further. Now that they understand the nature of the chemistry between the two of you, that it's actually because you are a perfect match. It's not because it was just lust, or because they're seeing the two of you as resonating more on that soul level than they ever understood before. They now want to see what that's made of. They want to explore it. They understand that now. So this is something in their heart of hearts that they have come to, they've broken free from the idea that this was just lust. They've broken free from the idea that if you're really attracted to somebody, that it's only that one archetype. I heard somewhere, and I don't remember exactly the wording, but that the masculine compartmentalizes the feminines into sinner or saint equivalent categories. And so they thought this was just sinner energy, but now they're realizing it's saint. It's the perfect match. And they want to now treat it as such. They want to honor that instead of cheapening the idea of what this chemistry implies. They want to exalt it. What can we see for the thing they're breaking free from to manifest? The unhealed. So this is the temperance process. And so they're breaking free from these patterns of being unhealed that have kept them in perpetual mourning. They want to manifest the healed acknowledgement of the love that's here, not this, I heard sob story, this sad loss, grief story. They don't want to self-sabotage anymore. They don't want to tell themselves they can't experience this much chemistry in a romantic long-term relationship. I just heard they're coming out of thinking that this is a toxic sex scenario. That's not going to resonate for everyone, but even if you haven't been intimate, they have thought something about your connection was taboo, and they're realizing the more they heal, the more they can give themselves credit for having had this amount of chemistry with you. And they're not criticizing themselves for it being an indication of being unhealed. They're now seeing this was love all along, even before they realized that they were ready for this level of love. So they're coming to terms with the fact that you met not a moment too soon, but it's been a growth period. To not attribute this chemistry to a hookup, temporary, passionate situation only. They're realizing it's standing the test of time and it's only growing stronger. What is the quantum energy? The great elation, reconfiguration, cycles, and gratitude. So they're becoming very grateful that this wasn't just a lustful thing. This wasn't just a taboo scenario. They're reconfiguring their thoughts on the matter and they're deepening in their appreciation of it. And this is healing them. It's partly because of the healing they've done, but also it is a healing recognition. What can we see for the action they're taking because they're breaking free? Wow, so they're starting to see you as also becoming monogamous. The King and Queen of Wands for me are my spiritually monogamous couple. They have transcended the indecision regarding sexual connection. So they're seeing you also coming out of needing to have a backup plan or other energies. They see you actually embodying what you've said you feel. They're seeing your coherence. They're seeing your actions following suit. There's anxiety here. Like they're hoping that you are choosing them with as much conviction as they've chosen you. Now, from the feminine side, we can say, oh my goodness, if you don't know that already, will you ever understand that? It's a bit counterintuitive from the feminine perspective, but these masculines are losing sleep about that. This other message is they know they've got to take some kind of deliberate action here before you decide that possibly they aren't interested and that you might go choose somebody else. So it's putting the pressure on, but also their own insecurities have not allowed them to believe you could really want them the way that you do, or be shown that they are your divine match the way that you've been shown. And so they're wrestling those demons. They're fighting those dragons right now, taming those dragons. Because they are seeing that some of their projections about this being taboo were intimacy fears or protection methods. And now that they've seen those constructs for what they are, they're like, oh, what have I done? Like I've projected this whole superiority, inferiority thing onto my feminine. And now they also see another layer of the way they've handled the connection or mishandled it in the past as it relates to this new clarity. What is this doing in the energetic realms? 43, self-love, golden potentiator, quickening, exponential expansion. Yeah, they might be staying up late at night, getting a lot of downloads right now. We saw the dreams card. So yeah, they are loving themselves and seeing their own worthiness more and more here, their own conviction, their own determination. The clarity is coming in more and more about who you are to them. And so their confidence, their security is growing here quickly, exponentially at this time. What can we see as the biggest challenge as these masculines break free from limitations regarding this connection? What is their biggest challenge? They don't know what they don't know. It's because they've been filtering the assessment of the connection through a different set of perspectives, and that's switching over right now. So there are a lot of awarenesses coming towards them, but they haven't had the ability to recognize those things. And so that's the biggest challenge, is this is emerging on a new level, and it's all going to illuminating in a different way. Yeah, they're working on it. So they are elevating their own perspective, and therefore new information will be available for them to see in a new way. So they are actively shifting their perspective. They may be praying for answers while working. So if they are buckling down and working hard right now, especially with anything that's monotonous that they have to do repeatedly over and over, you know, there's an artisan here honing their craft. And so I'm just getting that work, physical motion or repetitive motions can be very much a meditation where these truths can come. This also might be workaholism, and that they are so busy right now that some of these truths are trying to come, but they're not seeing it. What is this doing in the quantum? Spine of fire, true self, passion, motivation, and purpose. So whatever they're doing right now, it may not be their be-all end-all job. It may not be what they're truly passionate about, but they are getting those awarenesses as they continue to go through the motions. For some of them, they're working very hard on their purpose and motivation, but they don't see how that's going to align them fully with this connection or those beliefs that they're curious about, like the answers, the details, the logistics. They're working away knowing they have to do that, but they don't have the answers yet. What can we see for the solution? Knowing that you're not separate from each other. This is my card of separation, and my card of separation is an illusion when it's in the inverse. So the solution is knowing that it's not that you are on your own trajectories. You're still so connected, and all of these meditations and awarenesses and the unfolding of this, just because it's not fully in a material realm relationship doesn't mean that it's not all working together. And that's the solution, is to get it back to that perspective that it's not being established by the two of you at the same time. We get the Two of Cups next. And so this is a deep internal knowing of the alignment, of the preference, of the divine insight about the connection, that even though in the physical you may not be at that stage where your lives are quite being blended fully yet, there is this deep heartfelt knowing you're in it together. And that is the thing that no matter how hard they're working or how far they are from you, that this alignment is happening in the energetic realms and behind the scenes, which is a prerequisite for the closing of this gap and for it to come into the physical. What is the energetic? Galactic Council Crest, spiritual sovereignty, astral travel, and timelessness. So they are reaching out to you energetically at this time. I'm feeling like a breathing, like a strobing energy, actually, like boom, boom. Like as they're working, it's like they're aware of you, and then they're in their own energy, and they inhale some of your energy and they exhale to focus on their things. So it's a very, there's a life force energy establishing a harmonic rhythm behind the scenes here in the quantum. And it has required this spiritual sovereignty for both counterparts to leave that matrix thinking, the imprinting and all of that, and hold our own spiritually, meaning our primary connection each is with source. And that this is a timeless connection, that we pick up where we left off in the physical when we establish this spiritual sovereignty in our own right. Then we can be entrusted with another cycle of further togetherness. But these are the layers that we step up on. We get to a new one and we individuate to work on what is required from each side, and then we take another step together by collaborating, comparing notes, touching in, catalyzing, and then we do the integration, and then we do another step forward. And so this is the solution, is to understand and remember that we have had other cycles with this. Even karmic cycles lend themselves. Karmic cycles are just down here, and we may have a few sacred mirrors that help with these primary lessons, but each time we're going up another level, and sometimes the person that we do that with changes. When we get into mastery, then we have that one that we continue going with as we anchor in the union. But we can have karmic partners. We can have catalyzing influences. So it is just about trusting the process and trusting that we are having this growth regardless of what stage we're at, who this mirror is, and that our primary focus is with source. So is theirs. What can we see in the near future regarding the breaking free? 10 of Cups, happiness. So there is something coming in the near future over this 3 weeks that is providing lasting, profound happiness. Okay, perseverance. All right, so we're getting this energy of the masculines very much having to persevere. There are 9 wands or sticks in this in this card, and so they're still persevering with whatever they're doing. This can be a card of exhaustion, but they see the end in sight. So whatever they're working hard at right now, they do know that it's coming to a completion, and that the happiness is going to be meeting them on the other side. Part of this wounded warrior card, though, is putting down ego and coming into humility with gratitude that the fight has been worth it, that good things are worth waiting for, that we learn our tenacity, our capacity when we do hard things, and they have been proving themselves, but they don't need to struggle anymore. What is the energy connected? Merkaba matrix, light body expansion and illuminated presence. So these masculines are going to be coming out of whatever this period of applying themselves into a more authentic, illuminated version of themselves. They're not hiding their light or shrinking anymore. And that doesn't have necessarily full-blown defiance or rebellion or animosity. It's a calm, settled, embodied knowing, which will provide peace. And I'm hearing it's going to feel physically good and settled to be in each other's presence. So that's something that we can really gauge on this journey, is how we physically feel around our person. Sometimes it's so magnetic, that chemistry and that sensual pull, but then it goes through a calibration where it's more, not necessarily nonchalant, but it can be grounded and navigated with a deep sense of belonging rather than nervousness. These connections go through so many energetic calibrations, and I'm feeling here that it's going to start feeling very, very peaceful, supportive, nurturing, gentle, and alive, more so going forward here. I'm getting to pull one of these interesting cards. What the masculines want to know about the energy coming up regarding their feminine and any physical interaction they're going to have. Now that can be at a distance online if you have not physically met. This can be in the dream space, but this can also be physical experience. What can we see? What are the masculines considering? We are getting emotion. When could we have more patience with one another? Okay, so I'm getting also this means more space in our lives, more accommodation, more room. And so this is showing me that they haven't ever felt like they could just be in a relationship. And so the deeper question here is, what do you still need space? What is a non-negotiable, feminines, in your connection going forward? What would you require your masculine to know about your choices as an individual that you would want to continue putting your time and energy towards in sacred union? And they're beginning to come around to the idea that they're not going to lose themselves in this connection, and they're looking at the things they would want to retain as far as what they do with their time. I'm hearing things like nature and working out and special interests, hobbies, time with friends. And so patience in this context means accommodation or joy for the other person continuing to be themselves within relationship. It's an interesting energy I'm getting from that card. So really think about the things that you would not want to change about your habits, your daily or weekly or monthly habits, feminines, that you would want your masculine to have full security about with regards to your activities, your usage of time, all of that. All right, many blessings, everybody. Bye for now.